Okay, so it's Advent 2021. We're going to do Python libraries that are fun and useful to play with. Some of these are going to be more fun, some of these are going to be more productive. This is the first one, requests. This is if you've done any kind of Python scripting or application work, you've probably used requests because it is awesome. Going back to what I think makes really good libraries is about compatibility and maintainability and bloat. This one hits every single one of my objectives. It's got a great license, which allows us to be used. It's got a lot of users. I think it's got like 1.1 million users on GitHub. It's got 600 contributors. I keep saying that word wrong today. And it's a great little library. So it's got great documentation. It's simple to use. It fits in nicely. So very fundamentally, the way requests work, you import requests and you do requests.get some website, invalid entry.engineer. There we go. And that gives you back a response object. So you don't just get the body back, you actually get the full response object. So you generally do response equals, and then if you run that, you can then do response.status code. Look at that response status code, maybe do an if statement on that. But you can then start looking at the raw text of that to actually start ripping it apart and doing things with it. It gets cooler if you're going to call APIs because it actually natively has JSON support built in. So if you have a lot of JSON APIs, you can start doing posts, for example. Instead, you can do data equals or body equals to do form posts, but if you just want to send JSON data to a JSON API as a raw JSON body, you can just JSON equals. I'm going to put an object here. My data equals some dictionary hi, like this. And then just do my data. So this isn't JSON. This is just a Python object. To prove it's a Python object, I will just put some single quotes in here. It is some kind of array like this. It's some complex object. I run that, and this is going to be probably a 404 actually. Oh, it's a 200 because it worked. Right, don't worry about that. They're unrelated. What's really, really cool though, what people use this all the time, you can put headers in, do all those kind of things. What I like about this is that it isn't just a way of manipulating the request, because in Python you do have URL lib and you have URL lib, or you used to have URL lib too, but they put that back into URL lib. They actually do some cooler stuff in here as well, which is you actually have access to sessions. So what you can do is you do from requests import session, and this allows you then to actually link requests together. So you can say session or s equals session dot session. It's an object. And that effectively now is a little web browser with a cookie handler and understands context. So I had to do s dot get https google.com like that. It got 200 back, but I can now say s4 cookie in s.cookies. Oh, print cookie. And you can now see that I've actually got the cookie. So I now do another request, it actually will resend those cookies correctly. So if you're making some kind of bot to look at web pages and trawl and do web form posts and things like that, where cookies are important because they've got your session tokens and things like that in, requests is the best library to use. If you are going to pick up one library from this series, requests is the library to pick up. It is super powerful. You can set the headers going up. You can look at the stuff coming back. You can look at it JSON, just JSON parsing. So you don't need to worry about too much about your serialization of objects. And it is just so easy to use. The documentation is pretty simple. So yeah, that is today's library of the day.